Artists are often known for their own specific style on a piece that becomes popularized by their growing brand. Oddly enough, it appears that paintings can sometimes hold more than just emotions and signatures, as many pieces all throughout history have carried hidden meanings and codes that often go overlooked by passers-by, and by even those of whom have commissioned the piece. Some of these hidden messages can have political messages, and others can be secret attempts at sharing forbidden knowledge to the masses, otherwise being covered up by the powers that be. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over 5 hidden meanings found in paintings all throughout history. The Last Supper. Often referenced throughout the popular best-selling books by Dan Brown in his The Da Vinci Code series, The Last Supper is a prime candidate on this list, as it is often the main talking points for conspiracy theorists and Da Vinci enthusiasts from all walks of life. It is widely known that Leonardo da Vinci was a key figure in the Renaissance period, as well as an unmistakable genius who mastered the arts, engineering, and scientific endeavours. Many of his notes found throughout his possessions were riddled with complex codes, ciphers, and strange symbols that have led people down a rabbit hole of conjecture and hypothesis, but none more so than his piece, The Last Supper, that depicts the prophet Jesus Christ and his 12 disciples gathered together in a rendering of the last meal they shared with Jesus before his crucifixion. There are numerous allegations that the painting holds secrets about the life of Jesus, along with a prediction date of the end of the world that states that the 21st of March, 4006 will be the day of judgment, though neither of these theories can be confirmed. One recent finding, however, that can be confirmed is the fact that it appears that Leonardo da Vinci used his masterpiece to leave us behind a musical composition from his time. A few years ago, an Italian computer technician known as Giovanni Maria Palla spent an incredibly long amount of time peering over the piece and performing many different interpretations of objects and their placements. It did not take long for him to realise that the positions of the hands in the art piece, along with the placement of the bread rolls on the table when placed against a 5-lined musical staff, correspond with the placements of notes as seen in popular music compositions. When this composition is read from right to left, given the fact that Da Vinci often wrote from right to left, it can be translated into a musical range of notes that play back a beautiful musical composition. The creation of Adam and the separation of light from darkness. Similar to Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo was a prominent Renaissance man who, at an early age, mastered the many different arts relevant during his time, as well as having an astute awareness of advanced knowledge about the human anatomy long before it was understood in mainstream science. This was due to Michelangelo's love of the human body and personal medical research, as he would often go out, hidden in the night, and find himself in an old and abandoned cemetery where he would dig up graves to perform experiments on recently deceased bodies. This not only helped him to understand the mechanisms of the human anatomy, but to also be able to draw the ins and outs of a person with perfect anatomical precision. Unfortunately, at the time, such actions were seen by society as both incredibly immoral and overly scandalous. This was not due to the fact that Michelangelo would often desecrate human graves and break into cemeteries to perform these personal experiments. However, as the majority of the stigma against medical research at the time actually centred around the Catholic Church's attempt to control any form of revolutionary scientific practices that could see their power stripped, and given the fact that the healing, playing God and performing miracles was only seen as an action of the Church, medical education was highly frowned upon. It makes this story an incredible irony, however, as Michelangelo would go on to share these secrets regarding the forbidden knowledge of medical practice by hiding his notes and information throughout church commissions and religious renderings. This is most evident in his 2 most famous pieces created on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, spread across different works. The first piece, known as The Separation of Light from Darkness, of which features a large depiction of the Christian God covered from head to toe in fine linens, also features the lower parts of the human brain. The throat and chin of God are anatomically correct in their depiction of the cerebellum and the brainstem, as well as the fact that the folds of the linens following the body of God appear to twist and wrap in a way to accurately map out the larger veins leading up to the brainstem. This fascination with the human brain is made more obvious in his neighbouring piece, more popularly known throughout the religious and artistic community, called The Creation of Adam. The Creation of Adam helps to symbolically represent the connection between man and God, and the ever-constant struggle of trying to remain connected with God throughout a person's life. In this rendering, Michelangelo depicts the Christian God with a group of cherubs surrounding him that more or less look oddly similar to the grooves and folds found on the brain. This comparison with the human brain is made more prominent when one notices that the shape in which God inhabits, looking incredibly similar to that of the prefrontal cortex, a cherub to represent the hippocampus, and even a long green linen that is in the perfect place one would find the vertebral artery to exist. As researchers have looked closer at the painting, they even find designs similar to that of the cerebellum, optic chiasm, pituitary gland, and brainstem. The Café Terrace at night. Seen as one of Van Gogh's most valuable works is the painting known as the Café Terrace at night. Even though the painting itself is simplistic in its designs, featuring long and exaggerated brushstrokes with vibrant paints in that one-of-a-kind Van Gogh style, it holds a secret that many did not discover until long after the artist had passed away. One of the main features of the painting is that of a long-haired waiter dressed in white, standing over the many different individuals seated at the cafe. A closer look shows that there are roughly 12 people of whom are seated at the cafe, which has led some to speculate that perhaps the long-haired waiter is Van Gogh's representation of Jesus of Nazareth, and the 12 seated individuals are the apostles of whom followed and studied Jesus throughout his life. Interestingly enough, this theory was later confirmed after a collector remarked on the contents of a personal note Van Gogh had written to his brother Theo, in which Van Gogh claimed that one night he was out painting the town and the stars, he felt a terrible need to include a religious symbolism of living characters and figures, ultimately confirming the religious connotations with the painting and the Christian connection with the figures in the painting. The Mona Lisa. Possibly one of the most sought-after pieces in the art world is that of the masterpiece by Leonardo da Vinci known as the Mona Lisa. Valued at more than $800 million by today's standards, the piece is often at the center of most discussions regarding the realm of the golden age of the Renaissance and the dedication the old masters had to any one particular piece of art. Interestingly enough, over the many years Leonardo da Vinci worked on the masterpiece, he hid several different symbols and codes that took art enthusiasts decades to find. It appears that the old master left several different letters and numbers hidden throughout the painting. When viewing the piece under a microscope, Italian scholars discovered the letters LV hidden in the Mona Lisa's right eye and the letters CE in the left eye. Additionally, the bridge in the background landscape of the painting bears the inscription 72 and a hidden date that starts with 149 but leaves the last number completely scratched out. Although researchers believe the larger number to represent the year in which the piece was originally started, no one knows what these other numbers and letters hidden throughout the painting could mean. Sandro Botticelli's Primavera. Similar in style to that of a 1960s hippie gathering, the Botticelli masterpiece features a beautiful grouping of men and women huddled together in nature with Cupid floating overhead ready to fire his arrow. Even more interesting, however, is the attention to detail found in the background forestry of the piece that have had many different botanists and research scientists poring over the details in tremendous admiration. It appears that Botticelli painted an astonishing number of different flora all throughout the piece, with incredible scientific accuracy that it has helped botanists uncover what native species existed in Florence during the springtime back in the 15th century. Primavera features an unbelievable 500 individual plants in the background, with over 200 different classified species of plants scattered throughout. Given the fact that the origin of the painting has always been a mystery and the main cause for the creation of the piece often debated to be an unsold commission, it has become apparent that the design and detail itself could have been used as more of a timestamp of the native flora and the region, and perhaps the classification of many undiscovered species at the time. But what do you all think of these hidden codes and secrets left by the painters so many years ago? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.